On this bright summer day, an express truck is stopping in front. Beside the truck, there's a big box which the express man is delivering to Jimmy's family. As we watch what happens to the box, we're going to find out many things about sharing with others. Do you know what we mean by sharing? Do you know what kinds of things we share? Do you know why we share and how we share? Let's find out.
I joined Facebook on the 2nd of December 2008.
Would you consider yourself an avid Facebook user?
I am. My friends usually say I'm a little bit addicted. I'd be out with them and I would be checking my phone for status updates. I'd say it must be quite annoying. I have 1,069 friends. I have met every single person I'm friends with on Facebook. Some people maybe 10-minute encounters, other people I work with or I'm friends with from different countries. That's how Facebook would have started for me originally. I would have used it to stay in touch with my friends in France and Switzerland. So. Well, for instance, my godson lives in Switzerland and I can watch him grow up. You know, I can see pictures of him and I can be sent pictures of him and he can see pictures of me, and then we use Skype as well, you know what I mean? But Facebook is handy when we don't have the time to Skype. His mum will just put up a post of, Niels did this today, how's the godmother? You know what I mean? It's really nice. So, but you know, dangerous in some aspects because so much information is being put out there about what I'm doing and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's good to be able to stay in touch with people, and it's really handy for discovering new bands and stuff like that. Obviously, that's in my line of work. That's really important. It's a free way of communication as well. I just really do wish it came with a breathalyzer sometimes so that I don't make mistakes when I might be mildly inebriated and say things I shouldn't say. But yeah, mostly. Facebook is just Facebook. It's a nice way to stay in touch with people. It's a nice way to communicate. My friends had a bet with me that I wouldn't be able to stay off Facebook for 48 hours. And I passed with flying colours. And I kind of stopped posting as much after that. I noticed yesterday, this scared me, I had to post it on Facebook, that I hadn't posted anything in 15 hours. To me that was just very uncommon. Yeah. It makes information so much easier to gather on someone now with a timeline, because you can go, what was such and such a person doing on such and such a date? We had an incident once at one of the gigs where one of the cameramen took a picture of the crowd and posted it on Facebook, and someone's girlfriend was meant to be at home that night and there was a picture of her in the crowd and it caused a breakup. So for things like that, you know, it could be really, really dodgy. It's just way too easy to get caught out. Like, for instance, I'm friends with people sometimes that are 12 or 14, you know, young enough people, and I don't always think, oh crap, maybe I should be more careful what I post. So if I was a parent, I'd probably really kind of not censor, but make sure they were friends with people who had similar interests and weren't going to post things that weren't appropriate or anything like that. With regards to work, it's a really, really handy tool. It makes band promotion a lot easier. Now, I don't rely on Facebook solely. I don't believe that's properly what promotion is. There's a lot more to my job. But it does allow me to have a better idea and gauge of who might be coming and what type of people might be coming. It also allows other people that I may not normally be able to contact know about gigs. It's really handy from a Ruby Music point of view, because people will send us their band videos, their band EPs, their names, stuff like that. So that makes it really, really, really handy.
You regard yourself as a sociable person?
I am, yeah, I would, I guess.
Yeah? As in you socialise?
I do socialise, of course.
And have you used social media, or can you tell us about your experience with it?
Very little experience, I guess. I did make a Facebook account, but I deleted it after 3 months or so, because I didn't see the use. But I didn't use people, and don't use Twitter or Tumblr or whatever. None of those. Spent mucking about.
And when you're using Facebook, how were you using it? Like,
how was I using it?
Yeah.
Just keeping in contact, making sure people knew I was still alive, I guess.
Alright, and would a lot of your friends be on the social media site?
All of them, I guess, are on Facebook. Who isn't?
Yeah, and do you think you're kind of missing out to some degree since you're not on Facebook as well? Like?
Not entirely. Not really. I mean, most of my friends are in other towns, so the stuff that we talk about on Facebook are, you know, relevant to where they're at. So I might miss an invite to a gallery that I'm not going to go to anyway, I guess.
And do you think you would benefit if you were on a social media site? Like, do you think there's benefits to it?
I mean, there's benefits if you use it right, I guess. I mean, you kind of have to have an aim, that's kind of creepy.
And what's
What's the benefit?
What do you mean by use it right? What?
Well, I mean, if you had an aim, if you had a goal at the beginning, or I'm sure you can use it for lots of things.
And what do you use the internet for? What would you use the?
Browsing, the news, illegal downloading, gaming, I don't know, the usual stuff, nothing too hardcore.
Okay. Do you see yourself joining a social media site in the future at some stage?
Maybe at some stage in the future, when I don't know, I guess,
Yeah.
I'll have to eventually, I think. I think it'll come down to there's no choice. I think you'll join a site the way you buy a phone or join Meteor, you know. It won't be so much, it'll just be a thing that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use Facebook and I used to use Bebo.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Every day.
Yeah, has a software same as.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I do. I use Tumblr and I use Facebook.
Just to keep in touch with people that are too far away.
I use it to talk to friends and see if people are going out and stuff. Just to chat to them, see how they're getting on.
It's easier to connect with people. Just the connection with people is the best thing I can describe.
Well, I was going to delete my account, but I find it easy to keep in contact with people. And if I delete it, there'll be like a lot of people I wouldn't be able to keep in contact with because I don't have their numbers or emails. So it's just handier than everything else. So that's the reason I keep it. So, yeah.
If I'm doing a project or something, or if I'm trying to put something together, because I work for myself, I'm self-employed, so sometimes I need to use them, you know, to kind of get the point across for what I'm doing.
To be aware of what happened with my family, or to talk with my friend, to look what this guy look like, or I don't know. You the same?
Because most of the Chinese people use it.
Just to talk to my friends and people from college.
Because I want to.
Oh, it's just like I never knew border really, so that's why.
And I use Facebook to keep in contact with like family that live abroad, and I use Tumblr just to blog about different stuff that I like pictures and stuff.
The first thing that I would say is that at an evolutionary perspective, we're mammals, and nearly all of the higher mammals live in groups. So whales, elephants, dolphins, chimps, and more particularly the higher primates, the apes. So we're kind of in that category. We're kind of hardwired to be in groups, not to live solitary lives, whether it's generally more small tribal groups, but of course nowadays this has got much bigger in terms of cities and all that kind of stuff. I'd say there is an evolutionary and genetic aspect that way. At an emotional and psychological level, we wouldn't be able to live by ourselves in terms of food, in terms of our need to be close to other human beings, love, affection, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I would think that some people could be quite shy, but could be quite gifted with verbal and written communication skills. And if they've got a good sense of humour, that could contribute to it. And it might incline them towards using Facebook or other social media, whereby in their personal life they might be quite shy or they might be quite introverted, and they may not be able to get the same kind of discourse going with other people as they can online. I think there's a problem there. It can be very, very easy to go online and to make connections with people. However, it may not always be in the person's best interest, depending if that's the only thing they're doing, because they actually could be digging a deeper hole for themselves. And I certainly think there can be problems there. Yeah. Actually, as I'm sitting and thinking, I'm going through some particular clinical work, and I'm thinking of one particular client at the moment, or patient, depending on how you want to refer to these, and it could be problematic. It actually could be just a little bit too easy to talk to people in Shanghai or wherever and not develop the kind of local social skills in having a pint, having a galah, that is absolutely necessary for all human interaction. There's so much more going on in communication at any given moment in time. There's statistics bandied around all the time about 70% of all communication is non-verbal. Now, if you're online and you can't see the person, you're not reading any of those cues, and it's very difficult to know whether a person's being sincere, ironic, sarcastic. You might get a feel for it, but you might not as well. Plus, if a person is, being humorous but holding a stony face, you can pick things up from their body language, how their shoulders are, how their eyes are, they soft, are they hard, are they smiling. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can't pick up at times, and this is really the real stuff of nearly all interaction. One of the things that strikes me here as I'm talking is that if a person has a phone where they can access the internet, they don't have to talk to their family anymore. They can spend too much time talking to other people, and that may not necessarily always be good. So there are, I don't know if there are dangers, but in all things, I think you probably need to keep an eye on it. It's so young, I'm not so sure anybody knows really yet what the outcome of all of this in the long term.
I've spent the last 10 years working in youth work around Ireland, former director of a national project working in youth and schools, doing a lot of education and faith and a lot of work on things like bullying and self-esteem, things like that. More recently, I've been director of youth work in the southeast for the Church of Ireland and had a large involvement in educating parents and teenagers on internet safety and appropriate behaviour online. And it has amazing benefits, but it also has potential dangers. I think a lot of young people who perhaps struggle socially, who perhaps feel a lot of pressure in social situations because they're in that awkward teenage phase of not quite knowing who they are, they really struggle with how to put themselves across. So Facebook can be a fantastic exercise in actually deciding in terms of who they want to be and how they want to interact with people. They can write the message they were going to write, they can read it again, and then they can delete it. And rewrite it if they don't feel it comes across in the right way. Whereas in social settings, you blurt something out and you can't take it back. So to a certain extent, it's positive like that. But then the danger of that is that it's very easy to say things you don't mean, say things that are hurtful, say things that are unfair, or really misinterpret things by when you're sitting behind your screen and you're not looking somebody in the eye. So there's huge benefits in terms of learning how to interact, but probably temptations towards the darker side of things when you can say things without consequence. There has been a spate of things that I've seen of Facebook pages, like pages, that you become a fan page of something, that have been really targeted, aggressive, almost bile. They're kind of verbal bile about certain people that I've seen posted and shared around online. But what I've found is that actually the community that actually sees that sort of thing steps up really quickly to actually say this is not acceptable and we won't support this. It can definitely be an advantage in terms of building up your friendship groups. You can go home, you can be sitting and you can be studying and you can jump on Facebook, every couple hours, and you can be chatting to people. So it's a great way of socially interacting. And it means that your friends are actually becoming much more of a part of your daily life than perhaps they would have been a generation ago, because the boundaries are different now. When you go home, you're not outside your social circle anymore. You just have to pick up your phone, pick up your iPod, if it has Wi-Fi, or pick up your computer, and suddenly you can be interacting with people who aren't physically present with you. So that can be a huge advantage because it tightens social networks, it helps you make new friends. There's all sorts of great things to that. The other side of it is, if you are finding that difficult, if you're finding that Facebook is something that is competitive, or some sort of online representation of yourself that defines your value, well, there's no more boundaries anymore. The people who may have been able to hurt you physically at school, they can't touch you when you're at home. But if it's the words that are shared over Facebook or a social network or something like that, the boundaries are no longer there. They can hit you just before you go to bed at night. They can hit you in the middle of your studies. They can hit you at whatever time. And so it's actually opened the door for dangerous behaviour or for hurtful things to be said at times, at places you once considered to be safe, like your family house.
Yes, when Jimmy shared the stand with his friends, and they all shared in the work, then there was more fun for every member of the group. So you learn to share with others. You'll like it. Your friends will like you, too.